Not so long ago, there lived a young husband called Damilola. He was the kind of man who turned heads without trying. He was tall, light-skinned, and hilarious. He moved through the crowded streets of Ibadan like a man searching for his lost slippers. His golden brown skin shone under the sun. His mustache was always slightly crooked. And his voice? That voice could convince a cat to bait. Women found him amusing and he knew it. Damilola was a barber, one of the best in the neighborhood. He had a small shop with a broken ceiling fan and a radio that only worked when you hit it twice. Bam, bam, before it would pick up any channel at all. But despite his humble job, he carried himself like the owner of a multinational company. He wore sunglasses indoors, walked with exaggerated swag, and always had a toothpick in his mouth for no reason. But Damilola had a big problem. If there was an award for professional lying, he would have won a lifetime achievement prize. His wife Judith was the sugar in his tea. But his eyes? His eyes had no shame. They wandered like an untrained goat, looking for everything in skirts. Judith had seen all the signs before marriage. But love, they say, makes people do foolish things. She was beautiful, chocolate-skinned, and graceful. She was smarter than an old village chief, a school teacher with a bright future. She believed their love was special. She thought that once they got married, he would change. Aww, poor girl. At first, the signs were small. Mysterious phone calls, long conversations that ended with, "No, I love you more, baby." And of course, the classic "I was working late" excuse. Judy tried to ignore it, but the foolishness reached its peak one fateful evening. She was sweeping their bedroom when she found a wig under the bed. A bright new wig. Judy did not own any wig. I mean, how much did they pay teachers again? She held it up like a police officer inspecting fake currency. Damilola strolled in that moment, humming like a man who had no problems. "My love," he said, "I am home." Judy turned to him, her voice as cool as an ice drink. "Damilola, who owns this?" Damilola's brain crashed like an old computer. He blinked, then chuckled nervously. That's yours now. I bought it for you as a surprise gift." Judith clapped slowly. "Oh, wow. You bought me a wig? Damilola, have you ever seen me wear hair?" Damilola scratched his head. "Well, I was hoping you would try something new." Judith exhaled. "Damilola, just tell me the truth and shame the devil. Who owns this thing?" Damilola sighed deeply, looking like a man about to make history with the next lie. "Okay, I won't lie to you, Judith. That wig belongs to Mama Ngozi." There was silence in the house, the type of silence that made mosquitoes uncomfortable. Judith stared at him. "Mama Ngozi? You mean the fruit seller from your shop?" Damilola nodded seriously. "Yes, my love. She is experimenting with new styles. She wants to be young again, like a slave queen." Judith closed her eyes, trying so hard to calm herself down. She opened her eyes to find Damilola staring at her, grinning like a guilty child caught stealing meat from the pot. "Judith, my love, you need to understand." "Understand what?" Judith snapped. "That you, a struggling barber who can't even shape a proper fade, suddenly have money to buy wig for a strange woman? Judith placed her hands on her hips, her left eye twitching. Damilola gasped. A strange woman? Babe, she's not strange. She's just a customer. I mean a loyal one. I give her a sharp haircut every week. She tips me generously and I thought, Damilola, that woman is bored, Judith interrupted. There was another great silence. Even the cockroach that had been doing acrobatics near the fridge paused to hear his response. Damilola licked his lips and nodded solemnly. Yes, she's bored, but she likes to keep her head smooth, so I polish it for her. It's a new service I offer. Shiny scalp dealers. Judith's fingers twitched. You this man, you have no shame at all, oh. 2 days later, she packed her things. She was done believing in fairy tales because as much as she loved him, she loved herself more. For years, she had ignored the signs, the suspicious text messages, the overnight work trips, even though his shop was just down the street, and the mysterious hair extensions she kept finding in the apartment, despite the fact that she had been natural for 5 years. But what broke the camel's back was what she saw in his pockets the previous night. A handwritten note that said, Babe, last night was magical. I dreamt about your hands. Call me love, Sister Agatha. Wait. The same Sister Agatha? The choir mistress from our church? The same woman who preaches every Sunday about the dangers of temptation? The same woman who had once laid hands on me and prayed for my marital restoration? Judith reached her limits. As she zipped up her bag, she heard Damilola enter the room behind her and he said, Judith, I know you are angry, but let's be reasonable here. We have something special, something unbreakable. And Judith said to him, Damilola, the only special thing we have is my ability to tolerate nonsense. She grabbed her bag and walked to the door. So this is it. You are leaving? Just like that? He placed a hand on his chest, his voice filled with fake heartbreak. She turned around, folding her arms. Unless you have a miracle explanation for why Sister Agatha is writing you love notes. If not, I will be leaving. Damilola hesitated, then suddenly clapped his hands together like he had just received divine wisdom. Now I remember. Sister Agatha is studying to be a medical doctor. Yes, and she needed to practice writing prescriptions. I was only helping her. Judith blinked slowly. Now, wow. So, baby last night was magical. Is now a prescription? Damilola scratched his head. Yes, now. That is the prescription for back pain. She had been having serious back pain from carrying all those gospel burdens. For a moment, Judy just stared at him. Then she picked up the nearest slippers and flung it at his head. He dodged, but barely. Goodbye, Damilola. I fear who no fear you. President General in telling lies. And with that, she walked out, leaving him standing there, still clutching his imaginary prescription story. Outside, Judy took a deep breath. The air smelled fresher already. She pulled out her phone and dialed Ore's number. Ore, I am free. Let's go and celebrate. And please, let's go somewhere with no barber and no church choir member. I need a break from this madness. Ore laughed on the other end. Girl, I have been waiting for this day. Let's go. Now in a peaceful relaxation center, Ore whispered to Judith with her eyes looking innocent. Why not tame Damilola like cock him? Judith was surprised and then she said, No, it's not that deep. I just need something to make him stop cheating. Ore stared at her for a long time, then leaned in. Judith, have you taken any step yet? No, not yet, she replied. Then good. You have to return to the house. What? Judith screamed. Yes, because you have to be close to him to achieve your plans. Judith obliged and shamefully returned back home. Her husband accepted her with open arms. One night, as Damilola reached for a plate of fried plantain, Judith's voice rang out sharp as a new razor blade. She stood up, her anger bubbling just beneath the surface. Where have you been? Her husband, a proud local barber known for his sharp haircuts and even sharper excuses, took a slow bite before turning to face her. I told you, woman. I told you I had a business meeting, didn't I? Judith let out a bitter laugh, shaking her head. A barber business meeting that smells like coconut oil and shea butter? A barber business meeting per se that leaves you sneaking into the house at midnight? Damilola, do you even take me for a fool? Damilola sighed dramatically. Judith, I am a celebrity barber. Big men in this city call me for last meeting fates. I am out there working hard, making sure you enjoy everything, making sure you enjoy electricity without NEPA wahala. So what if I spend time with my female customers as you are already thinking? Oh, a barber must be friendly. It's not like I don't come home to you. Judith flinched at his words. Oh, so now you are the barber of the year, Abby? Don't insult my intelligence. Do barbers now give extra services after haircuts? What about me, Damilola? What about the vows we made? Do those mean nothing to you? Damilola shrugged. Judith, I told you from the beginning, I am a man of the people, for the people, and by the people. You knew what you were getting into when you married me. Judy's eyes darkened. So I should just accept it, right? I should just be the wife at home while you are out there shaping beers and collecting phone numbers? Damilola smirked. Exactly. You are catching on. Now, can I eat my plantain in peace? Something inside Judith snapped. You think I would just sit here and do nothing? No wahala. We shall see. The next morning, she made a phone call. Ore, do you remember that conversation we had about controlling one's husband? Ore hesitated. Judith, are you serious? I was only joking about that. You actually don't want to. I am serious, Judith interrupted, her voice steady. I can't live like this anymore. I have tried everything, but Damilola won't stop. I need help. Ore sighed. Well, there is someone I know, a woman, Mama Titi. She's powerful. But Judith, once you go down this path, there is no turning back. Judith thought for a moment before saying, Ore, just give me the address. I am equal to the tax. 2 days later, She found herself in Mama Titi's hut, a place filled with mysterious bottles and a giant framed picture of an old woman winking. Mama Titi adjusted her wrapper and leaned forward. "You say your husband is misbehaving?" Judith nodded vigorously. "Yes, Mama. He's chasing all his customers instead of just cutting their hair. I mean, his female customers." Mama Titi cackled. "This is not a problem. You will just need three things: a fresh okra, one old shoelace, and his favorite slippers. Mix them with palm oil and rub it on his forehead at midnight. He will become blind to other women. He will only see you." Judy's eyes widened. "Wetin be this one, abeg? Is that all?" "Yes, that's all. But you only need to be careful. If you add too much palm oil, he may start seeing spirits too." That night, Judith followed Mama Titi's instructions. At exactly midnight, she tiptoed to where Damilola was snoring on the couch, holding his phone suspiciously close to his chest. She gently rubbed the mixture on his forehead and whispered, only me, and only me." The next morning, something strange happened. Damilola sat up suddenly, looked around and gasped. "Judith, my eyes! Something is wrong." Judith rushed to his side. "What is it?" Damilola blinked rapidly. "I can only see you. Where is the TV? Where is my phone? Where is the mirror?" Judith bit her lip. Maybe you just need tea. Let me," Damilola wailed. "Judith, why are there three of you?" Judith froze. "Three?" Just then, Ore called. "Judith, please tell me you used the right measurements." Judith swallowed hard. "Abeg, define right measurements again," she replied. Ore groaned. "Judith, how much palm oil did you use?" Judith glanced at Damilola, who was now trying to kiss the refrigerator, mistaking it for her. She sighed. "Maybe a little too much?" Ore screamed through the phone. "Judith, you have turned your husband into a bat." Judith buried her face in her arms as Damilola grabbed a bottle of ketchup, staring at it lovingly. "Judith, my love, why are you inside this bottle?" "Here!" Judith knew immediately that she had made a terrible mistake. Mama Titi's voice echoed in her mind. "If you add too much oil, he may start seeing spirits too." This was going to be a long day. "Omo, I need to do something ASAP," she muttered to herself. "This Mama Titi's portion isn't authentic at all." She took a deep breath and straightened her back. If I had come this far, then I might as well finish what I've started. She reached out to Ore, who gave her another address. She journeyed, and luckily for her, she found the address just the way Ore described it. This time, an elderly man. "Baba," she began, her voice shaking slightly. "My husband Damilola turned me into a night watchman. Every night, I sit by the window, waiting, wondering which woman he is with at that time. I met one Mama Titi. She asked me to do one or two missy. I did though, but my husband says nothing apart from me. I am tired, Baba. I want him to stop. I want him to see everyone, including the women, but not cheating on me." Baba Otos nodded slowly, his face unreadable. "So, you seek to restore him? To make him see other women and be faithful?" he asked, Judith nodded vigorously. Yes, Baba. Whatever it takes, just tell me what to do. Baba Otos closed his eyes and hummed deeply as if listening to the whispers of spirits only he could hear. After a long silence, he reached under the table and pulled out a small calabash covered with a piece of red cloth. He placed it in front of her with great care, then pointed at it dramatically. Inside this calabash lies the secret to your husband's loyalty, he declared. But be warned, if you use it, there is no going back. Judith leaned in, her hands gripping the edge of her chair. What do I have to do? She asked. Barbatos lifted the red cloth with the slowness of a Nollywood suspense scene. Judith held her breath. Finally, the content of the calabash was revealed. A single small brown-looking pepper. Judith blinked. Then she blinked again. Baba, is this not a tarodo? Barbatos gasped dramatically. Silence, woman. This is no ordinary pepper. This is Ewe Ogede Paparazzi, the mystical pepper of truth and discipline. Judith stared at him, then at the pepper. Baba, what exactly am I supposed to do with it? Baba Otos lowered his voice to a whisper. Cook with it, just once, and make sure your husband eats it. The pepper will bring justice upon him. Judith frowned. Justice? How? The old man leaned back, his eyes twinkling with mischief. My daughter, let's just say he will experience repentance in a way he has never known before. Judith took the calabash, paid the required fee, which somehow included 2 tubers of yam, and left the shrine, her mind racing with questions. What exactly would happen to Damilola? Would he confess? Would he cry? Would his condition become worse? Would he suddenly become an obedient husband who will buy me flowers and stop smelling like cheap perfume? Will he even begin to see other people apart from me? That night, she prepared his favorite meal, pounded yam and egusi soup. And in that egusi soup, she carefully mashed the sacred pepper until it blended perfectly. She served the food with a sweet smile and fed him since he couldn't see anything else apart from her. For a few moments, nothing happened. Then, everything happened. Damilola's eyes widened. He grabbed his throat. Judith, what did you put in this food? His voice was hoarse, his face turning red. Judith tilted her head innocently. Oh, just the usual ingredients, darling. Do you like it? Damilola's eyes got opened. He started seeing everything in the house. He jumped up from the chair. Water! He sprinted to the kitchen sink, turned on the tap and shoved his entire head under the running water. Then, to Judith's horror and amusement, he began confessing everything. That time I said I was with a celebrity. Pure lies. I was only with Sandra having great time, and the money meant for our anniversary, I also gave it to her. Judith was speechless, and Damilola continued. I am sorry, love. Please make this thing stop. My entire tongue is on fire. I can feel my forefathers pulling me to the other side. Judith folded her arms, tapping her foot. Oh, now you are sorry? I thought you said you were a man who can never be tied down, that I knew what I was getting into. Oh yeah, I take it back. Oh, Damilola wailed, now running around the house like a headless chicken. Please, I will never cheat again. I will never even think about another woman. I will wash plates. I will do night prayers. I will do everything expected of me as a husband. Just give me milk. Judith sighed dramatically, pretending to think. Damilola, I don't know if this repentance is one of your numerous lies. Damilola fell to his knees with his hands raised to heavens. I swear on my life, just please, no more of that pepper. I beg you, I am changed. And that was how Damilola, the unrepentant playboy, became the most faithful husband in town. But then, after 2 weeks, everything returned to square one, even worse than it was initially. He didn't just cheat, he was doing it right in their matrimonial home, under Judith's nose. Baba Toss was sitting somewhere in his hut, sipping his herbal tea. He was a man of mystery and wisdom. His shrine, a humble hut decorated with cowrie and a poster of a faded action movie, smelt of burnt incense and regret. He has seen it all. Women desperate to hold on to their husbands, men hoping to strike it rich, and one particularly strange case where a man wanted his neighbor's goat to fall in love with him. But today, he had a special case before him. Judith sat across from him, her arms folded, her face the picture of frustration. Baba, my husband has started again. This time, it is worse than how it was before the Atorodo. Baboto sipped his tea slowly before speaking. Woman, is it cheating or practicing community service? Baba, this is not a joke, she snapped. Daminola is running after women like a man training for an Olympic marathon. Baboto sighed. Women of nowadays always wanting to tie a man down. Did they not teach you in school that a man is like Wi-Fi? If the connection is weak at home, he will search for a stronger network outside. Judith nearly flipped the stool she was sitting on. Babotos, I did not come here for riddles. I want a solution, something that will make him faithful forever, not just 2 weeks faithfulness. Babotos scratched his head before he then replied. There is one more thing, the obonge of all, but it is not without consequences. I don't care. I don't care, Judith said. Okay. You must take the special concoction, he said, reaching into a wooden box and pulling out a bottle filled with a suspiciously green liquid. For 7 days, you will put 1 drop in his food. Judith grabbed the bottle eagerly and then asked, and then? Then he will be bound to you alone. He will see no other woman, think of no other woman, and desire no other woman. A smile crept onto Judith's lips, and then she replied, Perfect. But there is one small side effect, though, Babotos added casually. Judith frowned. What is it? Babotos took another sip of his tea. If you put even 1 drop extra, he will become extremely uncontrollably loyal. Isn't that what I want? Judith asked. Babotos shook his head. No, my child. There is loyalty, and then there is loyalty. Judith waved his words away and rushed home, eager to start the process. That night, she prepared Damilola's favorite meal again, pounded yam and a goosey soup. Carefully, she added 1 drop of the concoction. For the first few days, everything seemed normal. Damilola was home in time, wasn't testing suspicious numbers, and even remembered their wedding anniversary. Judith was thrilled. But by day 5, things turned a new look. Damilola started following her everywhere. To the market, to the salon, even to her friend's house. By the 6th, he had abandoned his job. Why should I leave you alone for even 1 second, my angel? He asked, clutching her tightly. The world is dangerous. What if someone tries to steal you away from me? Oh? Judith began to panic. By the 7th, he was brushing her hair for her, tying her shoes, and even feeding her like she was a baby bird. By the 8th, he followed her into the bathroom. Damilola, what are you doing? She struck. Protecting you, of course, my queen, Damilola answered. What if the shower water betrays you? I must be here to do my job as a good husband. That night, Judith fled back to Baboto's shrine, breathless and misbehaving. Baba, help me, oh! Abeg, help me! My husband has turned into my shadow. Babotos nodded, unsurprised. I warned you, didn't I? Let me even ask you, did you follow the exact instructions? Judith hesitated. I may have added 2 drops. Okay, maybe 5. Babotos shook his head. Women, always overdoing things. Now, there is only one way to face it. Yes, Baba, I am ready to hear, please, Judith said. Well, you must find a woman more beautiful than you are and introduce her to your husband. Judith gasped. Am I not going round the circle? Like, am I not going back to what I came for with solution? Babotos shrugged. The only way to break this kind of spell is for him to voluntarily look at another woman. Judith stormed home, determined to face the mess. The next day, she invited her stunning cousin over, the one who made men forget their home training. But instead of looking, Damilola covered his eyes with his hands. My love, he whispered to Judith. No beauty on earth can compare to yours. Judith screamed. Ha! This that Megeo. 3 weeks later, Damilola was still following her around like a lost puppy. He had quit his job, unfollowed every woman on social media, and even started crying if she was away for more than 5 minutes. Desperate, Judith did the unthinkable. She packed her bags and ran away. Babotos, watching from his shrine, laughed out loud and said, Aha! Instead of you to patiently work out your marriage, you came to meet a man like Babotos, who has nothing to offer other than disaster. Judith, on her part, had no plan, no destination in mind, just a burning desire to escape the desire that was in her marriage. She boarded the first bus out of town, squeezed herself between people whose body odor was like that of an expired fish. But she didn't care. Freedom had never smelled so bad, yet she felt so good. Meanwhile, back at home, Damilola stretched out on a couch crying, asking questions like, who will I follow to the markets? Who will I feed? Ore, Judith's best friend, stormed into the house, her face twisted in fury. Where is she? Damilola yawned. Judith? She left. Probably she realized I was just too much of a man for her. Ore was shocked. Damilola, so you finally chased her away? Eh? You will regret this. Mark my words. And just like that, she stormed out, leaving Damilola to return to his crime. After a period of 7 days without seeing Judith, he became free again, mysteriously. But his life took a strange turn. First, his landlord evicted him for unpaid rent. Then he became a broke man who wore socks with holes. Worst of all, His phone screen cracked and he had no money to fix it. Rock bottom had never been so deep. Orestes, furious, decided it was time for revenge. She put up posters all over town with Damilola's face on them. Have you seen this man? He is missing common sense and basic decency. If found, return to the nearest correctional center. People laughed. Some even pointed at him in the street. He tried to defend himself, but the posters were too good. The damage was done, so he ran too for a safe haven. Meanwhile, Judith was doing so well. With her savings, she started selling provisions. Her customers loved her. She was making money, making friends, and most importantly, she was happy. One evening, as she closed the shop, a familiar voice called her name. She turned around. It was Damilola, raged, hungry, holding a plastic bag of his last belongings. Judith, my love, he called slowly. Judith took a deep breath. She had dreamt of this moment. She had even rehearsed the speech she would give him. She had planned the insults, the dramatic exit, and the possible slaps. She then said to him, "Provision or problems?" Damilola blinked. "What?" "I said provision or problems." Damilola was confused, and so she pointed to the signpost, Judith's provision store. "We sell provisions here, but for you, I have provisions and problem. So what do you need?" Damilola swallowed, and then he replied, "I need a miracle. I need my wife." Judith smirked. "Sorry, we don't sell such here. Go to the church." And with that, she turned off the shop lights, locked the door, and walked away. Damilola ran towards her and then made a statement that broke her down. "We both made mistakes, Judith, and we don't know if this will be our last chance on earth. What if something happens to you as you're walking away? What will you say to your maker when you transit from here to eternity? My love, I have learnt my lessons, and believe me, this is no longer the Damilola you know, but this standing right in front of you is Dami, Jesus' baby boy. Let's give this love a second chance and use our experience to build an enviable and unbreakable home." Judith saw his sincere repentance. She hugged him tightly, and with that, there became a new life in Christ, and everything turned drastically for them. Hey, African Tales by Karma Tribe, how are you all doing? For me, I am doing just fine. I know we all had fun while listening to the story, as much as I did while writing it. You see, in as much as I wanted every one of us to laugh, I also hope you grab the lessons embedded in the story, because trust me, there's so much for us to learn. There's so much for us to pick home. Before I go, I would like to read Matthew chapter 11 and verse 28. Jesus speaking, he says, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." You see, no matter the weight of your challenge, no matter what you are going through, Jesus is the answer. There is no need of going back to Babylon, because there is no way in it. There is no concrete answer in Babylon. Instead, you will be going round circles. And if care is not taken, your problems might even multiply. Jesus will not only give you rest, he will give you peace that surpasses all human understanding. Dear African Tales by Karma Tribe, no matter what you're going through, be it career, health-wise, marriage, or what have you, Jesus is the answer, because the solution you are seeking can only be found in him. So run to him and then you'll be glad you did. If you have not liked the story, what are you waiting for? Kindly give it a thumbs up and please subscribe if you have not subscribed. And let me get to read from you in the comment section what you think about the story. If you love what Kama is doing on this channel and you wish to support me, kindly use the link on my bio or the link on the description of this video to buy me coffee. You can as well buy me a super thanks and I will really appreciate that. Till I bring another exciting story your way. It is a goodbye from here and God bless you.